monetizing everybody. Hi, everybody. We're here, all three of us. Grab Sean while you've got him, guys, because he's on a tear. Um, I don't know how many of you are out there, but Sean put up a video on his channel. I'll let you explain it, Sean, and so they can understand.
Sure. It was actually it's a show I've done probably 1,000 times. Oh, no, that's not true. But definitely over 100. And because I generally do reviews of primaries and special elections, and just generally, giving people the baseline numbers and telling them what I think they mean, and because worked in field and campaigns for so long. And so I was doing the same. It was even my first overview of voter turnout in the March 3rd Texas primary. It wasn't even the first video. I think it was like third video I did. And something happened, because yesterday I had 23,000 people watch it. I had over 900 hours of view time on that one specific show. I got 500 new subscribers. I'll tell you, my channel is little. We are non-monetized. We don't do, I have like a couple hundred people that I chat with regularly on my channel, and I try to respond to every comment. It's like a full-time job yesterday, just trying to keep up with it. And I got a lot of good questions, which gives me a million new shows. So it's been really, really interesting. It's been from people all over the world. A lot of expat Texans that are in other states that are watching everything go down here in complete fascination. So it's been really interesting. But literally all I talk about is, demographic turnout. How does this relate to 2022? Things of that nature. It's not like this is real basic.
Earth Mama's watched your video already.
Thanks, Earth Mama. And real baseline information.
An algorithm is weird in how it shows up to people, and you hit the right button or whatever or the title or something that pushed it out there.
Yeah, you know what it was? I honestly think I started getting some long comments on the video. And that did something. People were writing paragraphs. And normally I get, thank you for all the work you did. And I really appreciate, believe me, those keep me going. But I rarely do I get full-blown paragraph questions and then other people responding to those paragraphs. It was fascinating. And it kind of told me where the electorate was. And of course, it's a contested primary. So I got Tallarico people on my channel, Jasmine Crockett people on my channel, and I made it very clear I'm very much with Jasmine Crockett.
But it was about the Texas primary, so that's why I hit.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. But I've had 2 or 3 other videos that had that same. I just changed the date, same title.
Well, I think the first 2 intrigued him, and it is a very watched race, and I think people are sensing. Scott and I were debating this before you came on, Sean, about how the national press is trying to make Jasmine look like a witch with a B in front of it. And I said, yeah, they're going to do that. Look at the people that are backing Tallarico. They're national. They want a Tallarico. They don't want another smart black woman. And the most telling ad for me, and people who are not in Texas are going to say, oh my God, another Texas ad. But there's an ad that says, Mike Johnson's favorite idea is have Jasmine Crockett running for senator. No, it's not. And they're just saying that because they want to make people think that there's a lot of there are Democrats who have a different opinion about that. But our voter, I wish I could. Sean sent me all the graphs, guys. It's my fault. My computer has been misbehaving all morning. I couldn't get the PDFs up, but talk a little bit about the demographic split.
Okay, so I definitely talk about the numbers today, because you were looking at yesterday's numbers, but they continued the trend. what we're seeing is the millennial vote is half what the boomer vote is, which never happens. Like
Yeah.
if 150,000, and this is not the exact numbers because I don't have the graphs directly in front of me. If 150,000 boomers have voted, 75,000 millennials have voted, but then, and it's like this bump, and then it goes like that. That bump has never been seen before. That bump, and the thing is, the average age of Texas is 35. So when you do the bell curve for Texas and the age, the top is 35. The most citizens in this state are 35. This is a millennial state. The second the millennials figure out that they control this state, is that very next second after that second is the end of the GOP in Texas. 100% straight math. Doesn't even
The
matter.
economy should be hitting that group the hardest right now.
Oh, and I can tell people are, because I'm looking at the data. These guys are not used to voting. The only reason they're voting is they're angry or they were asked to. And it's probably a combination of both those, in my opinion. And they should be angry. Housing, jobs, healthcare, education, debt. Dude, that generation has all of the above times 10. They should be angry.
Well, the thing is, I saw the same voter jump as did Scott, who was alive at the time and an adult and voting. But when Reagan ran against Carter, they really worked on people. And I was shocked because I didn't think Jimmy Carter had done all that badly, and I thought Reagan was a whack job and he'd been a Democrat, then became a Republican.
I mean,
Yeah, I know. He was just a pretty face, and he'd been union president for the actors union and stuff. I mean, and then he sold everybody out and went off and became.
He sold cigarettes on television. People forget.
Well, yeah, but that's your generation's thing. You don't understand. I had a mother who used to smoke in front of me while she was feeding my baby brother. So, we can't talk about.
I was alive in the 70s and 80s. I remember.
Yeah, but the thing is that's the shift I'm seeing. Because when I went to vote at a place where you just walked up that presidential, you just always walked up and voted and left. It was at the school auditorium, the place where I used to run the polls later. And the whole auditorium was full of people, and they were just letting us sit in the auditorium, and they'd come get 3 people, let you go vote, and then get the next 3 people. I'd never seen a turnout like that. And that's what I think we're in for. And that's what I think we're seeing. And it was right. In my age, and I know you think we had everything handed to us in a golden platter.
Super did.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Scott was cracking up this money. But the thing was, we were seeing it go away. The minimum wage, the last time minimum wage could buy you a living was when I was 20 years old. And I was clearly into my 20s.
I know. I remember gas was 99 cents in high school.
Oh, yeah. I remember when I was a little kid, you could, how the numbers go by on the gas thing pump. That's how I learned to count sitting in the car. I'd go 1, 2, 3. I mean, they went that slowly, folks. Scott and I, and then the dinosaur walked past the pump and said, "You're eating my relatives,"
The least expensive I remember gas as a kid is 87 cents. That's the least expensive I remember it. And I must have been like 3 or 4, but it's Texas. Literally gas, oil comes right out of the ground,
We're the first pipeline up after they put it out of the refinery. So enough about
84, 85, whatever I was buying. It was 80 to 90. And I just remember 99 out the top of my head, probably my senior year. But yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, but you don't have many oil fields in Wisconsin.
No, it probably came from Canada.
Okay, true.
But we're not talking to them now either. So
I know, apparently. Even they're too polite for us, apparently. I don't know.
So anyway, we got to say is I want to thank people from this group that have helped build Sean's channel too. Because I get notes all the time from people, I love Sean. And for those of you who don't know, who may have wandered over from Sean's show, Sean is my son. So that's why we can reminisce on.
Yeah, and don't let my mom fool you. She worked in politics for over a decade. She knows what she's talking about. Most of the time.
Most of them. That's why I like her knowledge.
But yeah, no. So today I did it. So one of the questions I got on my channel was about PACs, and a lot of people were giving Tallarico grief, and then the Tallarico people would respond, and there was a lot of back and forth. And my show today was literally about, guys, Citizens United came from Texas. People don't realize.
Mm-hmm.
We have had campaign finance limits and at state level races in my lifetime.
We've never had them.
We never had them. Yeah. So that's where Citizens United came from. That there were organizations giving money, unlimited money, to campaigns in Texas, and they said, "Wouldn't that be great if that went statewide? I mean, nationwide." And you can go look at the lawyers that drew up Citizens United. I guarantee you, there's about 10 Texans in there, and I explained to them that the PAC money doesn't have to go to the campaign. The PAC money creates a draft, like if you're like in NASCAR, cars come up behind them to get free energy. They don't have to even coordinate. That driver doesn't know what that driver ahead of them is doing, but he's tailgating him so he can get the draft and pull in and then shoot around him. That's what PAC money does. You don't have to have it in the campaign's coffers for it to have an effect on an election. So when Tallarico's out there saying, "Oh, I don't take PAC money," I'm like, you take advantage of PAC money. You don't take PAC money, fine. But you take advantage of the $6.5 million that's been spent in the last 2 weeks. I can assure you, your campaign takes advantage of that. And I explained to them how even with Field, you can pay it if you pay attention and you train your people properly. I'm talking paid Field, not volunteers. Volunteers are great. I love volunteers. Paid Field is more tactical, and you can train your people to look for certain things. So what we train our people to do is, hey, if you see a door hanger that's not one of ours on a door, take a photo of it, please. Because a high resolution photo, I want to see what the very, very fine print at the bottom of that door hanger says. Because that'll tell us what PAC, that'll tell us, what information's coming off that door, who's putting that door hanger out. Because there are still laws. You still have to put who paid for what, And so it's sorry. Just want to make sure I'm not missing anything. Okay. Sorry, I'm in the middle of a lot of stuff. So I explained it on my show today. I did 2 shows today. One's the update and then one's about the PAC stuff. That you don't have to coordinate with those PACs. If you're paying attention, you have good operatives operating your campaign. You can just go in and oh, hey, if they're hitting these doors, and I have all the demographic information and voter history for the voters behind that door, I can extrapolate based off that math what their targeted universe is. And I can go target a different universe to expand my footprint. Literally didn't even call the PAC, never talked to them, didn't do anything. I just have to look at their behavior and I know where they're at and what they're doing on the ground. So there's no coordination there, but I know what they're doing. Also, it's a finite universe of voters. It ain't that hard. And so I explained on my channel, what that's all about today. So I'm probably going to piss off a lot of people, but
it's okay. This one, okay. Somebody made a thing about if Tallarico runs, I won't. Yes, you will vote for him if he is the senator. If he's our senatorial candidate, my advice is vote for him because, as you all know, it comes down to the numbers. Who's got an R? Who's got a D next to their name? And I don't think he'd be. Oh, trust me, he would not be. Well, as far as I'm concerned, every same time I see Paxton, I see him exploding into flames. So, you know, and I don't think he's anywhere near that bad. I'm just saying, I can't believe in my lifetime again that I've seen us have two really great candidates in one race. That, you know, either one basically would be okay. But I prefer Jasmine because I think she's a stronger voice, and she also pisses the Republicans off worse. And for those who say a black woman can't win in Texas, what they're saying is a black person, because the last woman who is a Democrat who won statewide in Texas was a woman. It was Ann Richards. So
It was.
and I voted for her too.
And we've run quite a few white males for this seat
And they go
and
like,
not won anything. Lost by
I mean, they
hundreds
do
of
better than the one before, but and go watch Sean's things on demographics. The demographics we knew in 2006 when Dallas went blue because all the judicial benches went blue, that it's just a matter of time for the whole state to go that direction, because this is, if you're a white face in this state, your numbers are less than people of color.
This
All
is a
kinds of
minority
colors.
majority state. That's what they call it.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is a stupid term. We got to find it. We need to say is we need to quit marking each other.
I agree. Also, the whole division of race and minorities and stuff is just a tool of the 1%. It's literally how they get stuff done. And you know, I don't really have a problem with Tallarico, and of course I'm on the Crockett rocket all day, but my problem is getting along, which is kind of what he's talking about doing in this state.
Yeah, we've lived in a state that's done that.
Getting along is how we've had people shot in the streets and cities attacked. Getting along is how we don't have that. We've had healthcare stripped and the Voting Rights Act stripped and the Environmental Act stripped. Getting along has gotten us there. We're long past getting along, and that's why I want to fight her in the Senate. That's just where we're at.
Yeah, go look at Pennsylvania. They've got Fetterman, and they don't know what he's going to do from day to day.
Yeah, he gets along just great with the Republicans. Wonderfully.
Mm-hmm.
But his days are numbered as well.
I promise Sean I wouldn't keep him more than 15 minutes, and I'm 3 minutes over because he's got to go back and run the numbers.
Yeah,
if you want to know about numbers, and numbers speak.
Does not stop. All right. Well, thank you guys. It's been great. I'll call you later, Mom.
Okay. Bye, kid.
See ya.
Wish I'd have had that remove button when he was a kid. You're gone.
I forgot to ask him, is he still planning to come up to Wisconsin for the...
Oh, yeah. He's already got his contract signed. As soon as this primary's over, he's there. Sean will be running what he's doing for Texas right now for Jasmine's campaign. That kind of statistical work. He's going to be up being the data director, which is even more of what he's doing for the entire state of Wisconsin.
Her name's escaping me now, but
this cycle,
it would get the third liberal SCOTUS in Wisconsin. It would secure like a decade of a fair SCOTUS in Wisconsin.
That's right. I want you to know, I voted in our primary already. Needless to say, in my house, you don't not vote. My kids used to tell people, if we don't vote in the primary, Mom doesn't feed us. So not altogether true, but I already voted, and the ballot here is 10 pages long. That's how many Democrats are running.
Dang.
And
yeah, I always keep my daughters informed. Please go vote. Please go vote.
Yeah.
You know, they got kids, they're busy. It'll escape their mind.
But see, I know how to go online and see if you voted. And my kids know. I mean, one time when Susan was in school in San Antonio, she had a weekend where she was going to a religious retreat north of Dallas, and she was driving back through Dallas. She made the car stop at the poll she knew would be open on Sunday and run in and vote and run out because I had a candidate on that ballot for school board, and she knew I'd be looking. And anyway, and she jumped out of the car and ran up, and it's a very evangelical Lutheran church. They don't have polls there anymore, and I'm sure it's nothing to do with this. But Susan jumped out of the car. Susan's 6 feet tall. She runs down the sidewalk, goes in and votes, comes running back because they have to make a time thing at the campus too. They have to drive to San Antonio, which is another 3.5 to 4 hours depending on the traffic. She comes running down the sidewalk, and one of the guys in the car, his name is Jesus, but Susan used to call him Jesus, and she said, "Jesus, move over." and just as she does that, she looks to the side, and the whole congregation's having a giant family day picnic right next to where she ran and screamed at. So we have lots of fun primary stories. They may not be funny to you, but they're funny to us. And you've seen the sign wars, and we've had this is a comment on them putting Epstein approved next to yard signs of Republicans saying that they're Trump champions and Trump. That if you saw my thing on my channel, that was my little thumbnail. And another person thinks every state should do this. And actually, as I understand it, there are states now, other states where it's happening. In is it Arizona, or I think it's in Arizona, where they're putting MAGA approves pedos. So
Getting creative. Good.
Mm-hmm. Okay, now we're going to get to our regular questions. What's going on in your world, Scott, that you think's worth mentioning, other than it's cold and it's not as snowy as the East?
I'm just I'm following Wisconsin politics a little more. They didn't come up with a budget bill on health care and in school funding. So Tony Evers had his last State of the Union last week. It was really good.
Mm-hmm.
The longtime Speaker of the House is retiring. He had a heart attack last fall. He decided to call it quits, which is a good thing.
He's an R?
Yeah. Well, our legislature is controlled by the Republicans, so. But yeah, a lot going on there. But Tony's talking about a special session to try to get this budget through for the kids in healthcare, since they couldn't come up with a deal. But other than that, just trucking along.
Okay, well, here's our questions. This came through people who posted to my announcement we're doing the show. Catherine, will anyone finally stop him and the tariffs now that the Supreme Court has ruled they're illegal? He's going to continue to say what his mouth says. It doesn't mean it's going anywhere.
Well, he did that illegal thing with the Section 122 for 150 days. Supposedly he can have tariffs on, but unless the House and Senate does something, they're on break again. No, I don't see it happening. I don't see the Republicans stopping this.
Although someone today I saw, they stopped a gunman who'd gotten past the security perimeter at Mar-a-Lago.
He's gone,
Okay. Sage Burner, will Florida homeowners insurance look like in 4 years? We can do a reading on that one.
Will there be homeowners insurance relief? It's a disaster now. A lot of heartache. I get, like I said, there's a lot of heartache right now because I got the 10 of Swords and my 3 of Swords expanded in the moon. So right now there's a lot of hidden costs, a lot of heartache. Coming forward, there feels like there could be something coming with the Chariot, Queen of Cups, Ace of Swords. But in the end, I get a lot of opposition. 9 of Coins is your finances. And then I get the Knight of Swords and Page of Swords. So I don't see any help coming. It will be talked about. It's showing a possible bill brought up by the Democrats in Florida, but I don't see it passing.
No, I just see they're going to continue to let it be a worry. 9 of Swords be a worry, worry, worry. But they don't have the strength. The people that are in charge don't have the strength to do anything about it. But my cards go eventually, they get tired of being outside, of not being able to take care of business. And they end up with the Empress, which means within 4 years, I think there'll be a change. But nothing's coming to you immediately. Right now, you're stuck.
Yeah. On the bottom, I had that 8 of Swords.
I had the Ace of Swords upside down, no action.
Isolated, blind actions, tensions.
Let's see what else we got.
You know, with health or insurance companies fleeing, limited options, it's a tough thing. You'd almost have to go with the government, state-funded kind of thing to help.
No, because they're bizarre. Anyway, are we sure he will not go into Cuba? How can I shake these feelings? Well, you just have to just not think about it. Just say, thank you for sharing to the universe when it worries you with that, and go on and find something pleasant to think about. But we can look at, will he try to go into Cuba? What's he going to go into Cuba and get? They do better starving them from the outside. If you go into Cuba and you take it over, then you have to put things in there. And they can't put things in where we need them.
Cuba's a disaster right now. Thanks to our blockades of oil tankers, it's a mess. No electricity, food shortages.
He's not going to go in. It's too much trouble, too much pain. Got strength again, reversed. Didn't have strength. He wants it to hang on and be bad. Doing what they're doing now makes it bad. And the Sun, no, there's no action, and there will be an end to it, but I don't know. It's not going to be because we go in.
Yeah, I get 8 of Cups in the end, walking away. The actions of the Knight of Wands, walking away. Walking away. So I don't see any. The cards kind of give me the sense of the devil and the money going on now and the pain.
Yeah.
Maybe relieved, like they actually might down the road end these embargoes of the oil.
Right.
But as far as going in, I'm getting a walking away.
No. How mad is Trump at the Supreme Court?
Furious. If anyone listened to his deranged speech, he's furious.
Right.
Hence why he put an additional 15% tariff on everything.
First it was 10, and then it became 15 halfway through the speech. So, yeah. There's no rational discussion about him, and that until something happens with the Supreme Court, nothing's going to happen there either. So, I mean, they said the right thing instead of the wrong things.
I mean, if I was SCOTUS, I would start trying to do the right thing, and everything against him.
Okay.
But
Well,
you'll never get Thomas and Alito. Those two are gone.
Well, they don't have a pope that loves them anymore. I mean, they're not making their master happy. I mean, that's why I think that's Alito's gonna quit the court and become a Baptist. I mean, really. The internet is blowing up that Ghislaine Maxwell is not the Texas prisoner. It's not her. Looks totally different. Ears are lower, nose is wider, bigger frame. Has she switched? Bigger frame could just be she's eating prison food, guys. Has she switched out? Was she switched out and coming to Texas?
Did you see the picture?
I've seen the pictures. I don't know, but which picture is the right picture? Or did they doctor the picture they want me to think is a picture of her being different? I tell you what, the Texas prison system is such a big place, and there's so many people in it. If she'd have been switched out, that would have been out by now. Use your sense. Office gossip alone.
I think it was yesterday she filed a brief to block the documents from the civil lawsuit. The victims that filed to get relief money. I guess that's being blocked yet, or hasn't come out. Her part in the lawsuits. So she filed with the court to block it from being released. So,
good Lord, I've got nothing but major arcana on this.
Is Elaine actual body in Texas?
Well, I don't like the answer I got. No, it's a trick they pulled. Trump pulled a trick. They changed her. She got transitioned. She got changed, and not dead changed like, well, we still don't know about him either. She's learned absolutely nothing. The world will find out. And it was all because of them all being tied to the devil. They may be right. That may not be. I want to know who could you hire to go into prison that wouldn't talk?
I know, right? Okay. Ooh.
What'd you get?
So in the past, I get the 7 of coins. Okay, this looks like Blanche coming in there. And here we got the Queen of Blades. Look at that short haircut. Just laying. And then we got the Moon. Deception. The current energy, I get the Sun, the Star, and the 6 of coins. It's sure looking like something's amiss.
Something's not. But who would be stupid enough to take that job? I mean, to go do that.
Then I get the Ace of Swords, the Fool, and then the Tower being exposed here. Outcome, 6 of Cups.
Jesus.
This kind of looks like Felon 45 with his bucket of chicken.
Yeah.
Then I get 2 of Swords, a different path, 7 of Cups, illusions, delusions, and the Devil. Yeah. This is not right.
Something's wrong somewhere.
Something is amiss. The supernatural deck looks like it's yes. Crazy.
Excuse me for a second. I cleaned my desk off and I moved all my cards around. So now nothing's where it's supposed to be. And I was not good this morning because I was getting things arranged. You know, there is something to swinging pendulums because it's a lot easier to have 10 pendulums around you than 10 decks of cards. Okay. Well, on that unhappy note, let's ask this one. Will the real Melania have to give testimony in Michael Wolff's case?
Will the real Melania please stand up? I can't remember if I heard if she actually got served or not. She's been avoiding that. They've been trying to get the doorman or whatever. Just
Maybe that's the guy that broke into Mar-a-Lago.
trying to serve her, and he, poor guy got whacked. Okay, Will Melania. Have to give a deposition.
I'm going to use my bunny cards because it's Melania. And she's so cute and cuddly.
I think this is going to go for quite a while. Okay. I get the 8 of Swords in the bottom, so she's going to try to restrict this as much as possible. So the news coming out here, I get the Wheel of Fortune in the past here. Basically saying her BS is her fate is changing by what she's tried to use the Trump tactic, and Michael Wolff wasn't having it, filing his own lawsuit back. So the tactics didn't work.
Mm-hmm.
Giving testimony is in the 5 of Wands. So the lack of energy to do so. Outcome, I get Page of Swords, Magician, and Ace of Wands.
I think they get her in the end. My end card is they get her. They get the Ace of Swords. They get words out of her. But right now, she's hiding out in her precious little 9 of Pentacles.
Right.
And in between that, she's got 2 knights fighting each other. And she's upside down. She didn't want to do this.
So I think the Magician is her lawyers trying to work some magic to not give the energy for testimony.
Are you saying that a Trump would hire a corrupt lawyer?
Yeah. So it's not really, I'm not really getting this sense of how this is going to go, but it feels like she may try to drop her end, but she can't really.
Right.
Because Michael's got a case. So it's going to continue, but it just feels like such a long process that I wonder, I do have the 9-10 of coins here too, that she probably just will try to settle and not give testimony.
Right.
That's what it feels like in the end, because she does not want to.
I don't see her testifying, but I don't see it going away either. The Ace of Swords says it wins. Good Sunday, all. Yes. Are we all ready to boycott the State of the Union? Now, there's several groups that are having watch our parties.
Yeah, so I follow a couple intuitives on TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm kind of getting the same feeling, but they think Felon 45 isn't going to make it to the State of the Union.
Okay, we wanted to read on that?
Yeah. How's he going to feel at the State of the Union?
Okay.
It's the 24th. Because their intuition was saying that it's empty. The podium's empty. You know, maybe it's his empty head.
Well, no, I mean, that when he stands behind it, the podium's empty. That doesn't prove anything.
So it's just kind of like, you know, when you look at the visuals of past State of the Unions, it's like empty, and I kind of see it too. So let's just see if there's anything to this energy.
Wow, I asked if he was going to be there, Scott, and I got 5 no's. And you're going to believe the no's I got. No is one, he's outside somewhere wandering. If they won't let him up there because they know it would be tower time. This Knight of Cups, and when I looked at it this time, I got the liar. There's several different impressions you get off the Knight of Cups. This one I got liar, liar, pants on fire. And he wants to go be the emperor, and he wants to be the king of pentacles, but they're all upside down. All the ways he imagines himself are upside down. I don't think he's going to be there. So Midas touch will just go to maybe
for that here. He's very ill, and it's going to be a disaster.
Do you think he's not very ill now?
Again, I get the 8 of Swords on the bottom of the deck. This is like the 3rd or 4th time.
Mm-hmm.
And then I get a Tower coming. Knight of Coins would be maybe the speed, and then something disastrous happens before, and we know about it.
Right.
So this is what the State of the Union is supposed to be. Leadership in the Hierophant, giving a good message of hope. This is not what Felon 45 does.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and my other 3, I got the Magician, Queen of Coins, and Ace of Cups. And some reason I get like an AI video when I get that. He's done that, or his team has done that numerous times.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like put out an AI video from Mar-a-Lago or something.
You mean like the AI video they had of a jet flying over a protest and dumping BMs on them?
You know, like there's been at least 2 times they put on an AI video of him speaking.
Mm-hmm.
Nonsense, but you can tell it was AI because he never moved. He had his hands there. And then there was a glitch in the video where he's seeing the hands go like this.
Mm-hmm.
There was at least 2 for sure.
You know what? That means you've watched any video that man's done in the last 2 years longer than I have. If you've even gotten that far into it, I don't see any of that.
I just only look at clips, and I don't try to listen to them. But someone put it up like, is this AI? Is this video AI? So I watched, you know, the mannerisms, what he did, and how he was taught. It was not him. You know, he goes off the rails. He doesn't sit there and. So anyway,
I want everybody to know the doggies are from Scott's house, not mine.
Yeah.
Because every time they bark, my cat puts her head up and goes, "Really?"
Yeah, there's an extra dog in the house, and they're not getting along.
Yeah. If Texas goes blue, will Idaho? Right?
Oh, good Lord. Idaho's a lost cause.
Well, okay. Colorado used to be as red as Texas, and a bunch of wealthy Democrats in Colorado. And I've talked to one of them who was at the meal where they decided to do this. They all put in several $1 million each. They came up with a strategy on how to target the groups there, because there was no Democratic Party in Colorado. We finally have one in Texas. There is one here. But they all got together and they went to the groups that would, by the way they think, want to join in to the Democratic Party, like the Sierra Clubs and the outdoor people and all the different groups that have sympathies about environment stuff. And they put their money together and they started finding candidates and saying, we'll help you. We'll get you the stuff you need. We know what it's going to take to do it. And at the same time, the Republicans down here were just saying, well, let's elect Paxton and let's get more corrupt. But literally, Colorado, numerically to the state numbers, the demographics within the state, it became a blue state. But it still has very deeply red pockets of Colorado. So Could Idaho go blue? Because as I understand it, the real voting population that controls your states in a small given area, if they became convinced it was to their benefit, yes, they could. But I don't think so. I'm not going to turn cards for Idaho because I don't want you to get completely depressed, Pegasus. So.
I can't find it now. But anyway, I seen yesterday. So this polling organization, pretty respectable. I see them on Twitter a lot, like Polling USA, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
They did a poll on every state of favoritism. Idaho was plus 45.
That's not a number you're going to come back from.
Wisconsin was minus 18. Like I remember Texas was like minus 13. Good news.
Mm-hmm.
Michigan was like minus 13, but Idaho, Wyoming, up in that area, all high praise for 45.
Well, that's where they all went to get away from the rest of us.
Yeah, like disgruntled Republicans in California supposedly went to Idaho.
Yeah, and they don't want them because they raised their taxes. Good. Should have Texas raise to let those people in. Okay.
Idaho, oh my God, they're
long question. So Musk was busted for committing voter fraud in Florida. I knew it. I knew Kamala is our rightful POTUS. I'm not going to even get into that argument. You're right. The numbers may have been played with, but once they accepted it, they accepted it. I know Musk pulled shenanigans in other swing states as well. No one would listen. Sean was a block away in Wisconsin when he was handing out $1 million checks. As far as they can find, they can't find anyone that was able to cash those.
Yeah, it was all a scam.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, this whole Musk thing, his PAC or whatever pre-filled out forms, ballots. So technically it's not fraud. They just issued a warning or whatever, because even though it's pre-filled, the person, registered person sending it in has to put their ID, their name and stuff. So it wasn't like fraudulent ballots went in. They pre-filled them for Republican. So is it wrong? Yes, but they're just giving that PAC a warning or whatever. So
we had a city council person here he died in a federal prison in Ohio for that. Okay. Please go vote early, everybody. When does your voting? You don't vote yet. Your primary's way
April.
Up.
First Tuesday in April, so like the 20th of March or something like that is early voting for our SCOTUS.
Okay. So I'm going to go down here and look for some more questions. Now we get into when everybody's talked about their mothers smoking around them when they were small and how cheap gas used to be. Okay. So that's where I am in the chat, guys. Okay, Scott, talk about this one. This is good.
I'm not worried about the revenue money. My concern is getting control of the country in Texas. You mean the dark money?
Yeah, no, they're talking about PAC money, which can hide as dark money.
That's paying. Is getting control of the country in Texas. Yeah, basically you gotta get your own dark money and control a narrative. And like last year, Wisconsin rejected Musk and still won the SCOTUS seat by 10 points.
Mm-hmm.
It's just getting people informed.
Okay. And let's see. Okay, Scott, have you read anything about the unaliving of Elaine Chow's sister? Unaliving.
I heard something about that a while ago. What the heck? We'd throw a random on it and see if there's any shenanigans or natural. Be nice if I had a name. But I did hear about that. Elaine Chow's sister. My senses don't feel shenanigans.
No.
Ace of Cups, seeing you're the creator, going with good energy. Transitioning with the Six of Swords. There was a problem here with the Eight of Swords being isolated. But there's a new path and transitioning. Nothing in these cards show like shenanigans. I know, Rich. Mitch has been home.
No, and I show she just died. She just died. It was a straightforward death. There was something wrong with her heart. And it's okay. I mean, she's okay. She's on the other side and happy.
Yeah.
No mediumship there.
Got those cards too. Some issues. Angela Chow.
Okay. Okay, somebody says she's not worried about the origins of the money. My concern is getting control of the country in Texas. My argument, Grace, with you about that, and there's not a question in this, but it's if people don't say who they are and they're giving all these people money, you end up and you have no control over the amount of money that can be spent, then people who don't have money as their primary goal don't get supported. And eventually you get the government we have now.
Laura said Elaine Chow's sister drowned in her car. Okay, that means restricted. That's where the Eight of Swords came up then. She was restricted from saving herself. So it feels like an accident or something. I didn't get any shenanigans, as far as, getting hurt in a way.
Okay. Then I'm going to show a question. Ted Cruz is not running. John Cornyn is the sitting senator that's running. Ted Cruz is an unfortunate mistake that we can't get rid of for 4 years.
Well, I remember reading on Cornyn's election and when I did my Senate reviews, and that was one of the biggest ones. I was reading on it and like, he's going to win by cheating. I remember saying that.
If he wins, it's going to be by cheating because he's now almost behind the black guy.
And I think I did talk to you about that then or something. And that's when you started talking about the machines that would flip votes and whatnot.
But and our new voting machines, I did vote early. They print out a little paper ballot that you get to carry over and you can see how your votes are cast. I swear I would have to bring the most incredible magnifying glass known to the world to be able to read who I voted for. It's so tiny.
I mean, it's like a paper receipt, basically.
It looks like it's written in computer code. I mean, it's really horrible. Okay.
At least you get something.
That's true. Trust me, because the year that my friend had it flipped twice to Ted Cruz till they went and got the new little machine, brought it to the car. I sat next to him and watched that one happen. You said Dallas County already hits its Dem votes. There are areas of Dallas County that we've only had 4 days of early voting, and we have 3 weeks, have already hit the total numbers of voters that voted in a non-presidential year primary by a sizable amount. I mean, this is going to look like it was a presidential election when it's done. And they're really turning out in the rural counties too. That's where the Republicans are getting most of their votes. And I wish I was better with my mechanics today so you could see the pictures, but. And somebody said, when she grew up in Texas, it was blue. Yes, it was blue until they passed the civil rights law. And then all of the then Democrats became Republicans. That was happening when I first moved here. So, yeah. Will F-45 be sending a hospital ship to Greenland? I have no idea. Have you heard anything about that, Scott?
Yeah, he posted that he's sending a hospital ship to Greenland, but the thing is, our 2 hospital ships are in port getting repaired. So
hop right on that. Oh, yeah, this is one of the greater ironies of life. Will MAGA find out that Israel is getting billions in U.S. taxpayer funds? Israel has free education, free health care, abortion on demand, may I say, while the U.S. has neither. Do you think that MAGA will ever wake up to that sort of?
doubtful. They don't realize how much money we give them all the time. All worried about Ukraine, but
or feeding the starving children. Where they said that by 2030, if we don't turn our policies about giving food aid to the starving countries, there'll be a child dying every 30 seconds in those countries.
Yeah.
If you want to follow that stuff, follow Oxfam, OXFAM. It's a charitable group out of Britain that.
The news about Israel is being suppressed with the 4 of Swords. And then I get 8 of Swords, Knight of Wands, Ace of Pentacles. So it's like what we give to them is being suppressed.
Mm-hmm.
8 of Swords. The end, I get the High Priestess, Justice, 6 of Swords, and Judgment. At some point, it's going to come to the forefront. Not too soon. Maybe 2 years. But the balancing will be coming into effect and things get better. The judgment of what we've spent on them basically gives them them security over us while they commit genocide. And they just hit Lebanon the other day.
Mm-hmm.
That's a small country. It's amazing how much war-inducing happens under Netanyahu.
Mm-hmm. What I got is the strength reversed, which means they don't really want to look at it. They don't care about the money when it comes to this issue. For them, it's a non-starter. But my out cards are, they may be sitting there saying, da, 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 I'm not listening. But when the price comes to be paid, they'll be listening because they're going to be heartbroken. And it's all emotional. It's not just money and military. So, yeah, let's go. Guys, I don't think we can tell you what's going to happen with the tariffs. I don't think they're going to be any more effective than they've been so far. They haven't been collected because there's no mechanism for collecting them. Scott, what's your channel?
Scott Allen, Spiritual Essence.
Okay. Oh, somebody put it in the thing. See, somebody else faster than we are.
Thank you.
I'm still in hospital ships. Yeah. When will Medicare and Medicaid insurance be blended to save the public and the medical field?
Well, the big ugly bill is going to blow that up by $1 trillion in December. So that would have to be repealed.
Mm-hmm.
So,
But it's very repealable. Like, as I understand it, all of the versions of it are sitting in Congressman's office waiting for after November.
all for tax cuts for the rich and put us in deep debt.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Lisa.
I don't see any change in the trajectory around either of those two issues soon. It's got 5 more no's. I don't know what's going on. I normally don't get all no's or all yeses, but that's what I'm getting.
we're going to go through some dark times before it gets changed. People are going to talk about it. We're going to hear it from the United States. Once people start having problems with the 5 of coins. Then I got, once the truth comes out, Democrats are going to start trying to put a different path, and then we have to choose. So Democrats are going to fight here, but the outcome is not good. Our security is going to be in a tower moment for people that need it. What we rely on, what we hope for with Medicare, Medicaid, is going to be towered. So let's see, timing. Looking at any kind of timing cards. Maybe next February it's going to be taken up. But in the bottom, I get dark times and transitioning. So it doesn't mean it's going to pass next February, but that's the time of another government shutdown, possibly. So once people start losing everything in December, the fight begins. So as far as being together, I kind of sense a couple years of things getting better. It feels like it's before 28. So that's 2 years anyway, yeah.
Okay. Oh, this is a good one.
Thanks, Jeff. Thanks for the donation.
Thank you, Jeff. Jeff, did you get my video? I sent you a video the other day. He bought me a cup of coffee, and there's a way you can attach a little video to the thank you. Will Andrews arrest drag 45 down?
Good one.
Mm-hmm.
I'd take a deal for a life on house arrest if he spills the beans on everything.
The what?
I'd take a life on house arrest and lose all his money.
He's got a palace. Andrew's got a palace in one of the Arab states that they can't extradite him from. And it's all staffed and it's sitting there. Think he thought this might be coming? They don't have Thanksgiving dinner in England, but they do have that kind of Thanksgiving dinner. Must have been very tense the last few.
Well, they can seize his assets.
I can't wait to see his brother leave either.
There you go. Oh, I get he'll be restricted.
Wow.
He'll
Now
be-
I got 5 yeses, Scott. I got 5 no's before, now I got 5 yeses. I got Andrew's going to sing like a little bird. He's going to tell them everything they want to know. It's going to bring the tower down. It's going to come out in ways they can't avoid it. People are going to be facing all kinds of judgment. And then America has to decide, does it want to weigh this anymore? Does it want to hide behind my mind or my heart? I think America needs to roll with its heart and say, we're not taking this shit anymore. Yes, I think it's going to bring him down.
I see an offer. I see an offer to flip.
Mm-hmm.
And possible imprisonment being offered too with it. But he's not motivated to take it with the 5 of Wands. But then I have him walking away. More news comes out and heavy stresses and burdens. Page of Wands, so spilling the beans. Outcome is the world united with the 4 of Wands. Wishes fulfilled. And a new path with the Page of Coins. And then I get my dark times
Oh, well.
transitioning. So I think there's a flip coming for Andrew.
Yeah. I grew up among a lot of white privileged people, and I was raised with 3 white privileged brothers. And my brothers were a little tougher than most, but I can tell you what, I grew up also in a neighborhood that had mafia kids in the neighborhood. And all the white guys, the little middle-class white kids I grew up with, they'd flip in 2 minutes. You could run cars over the mafia kids and they wouldn't talk. So I'm just saying, I think Prince Andrew's even whiter than the white kids I grew up with, if that's possible. Putin is still alive. Is he still alive? Do we care?
Not really, but I've gotten no forever.
I got the Ace of Cups. Whatever you want, you take a position. Do what you want to do. My cards aren't gonna read anymore on that one. You can read on it, Scott.
No, soul contract and disaster.
Okay.
I've always gotten no. And it was after we seen videos of him shaking and all that, it was like December of that year.
Yeah, I had a dream where I saw the nurse put the hot shot in him and kill him because they had his replacement ready to go.
So when was that? 23? December of 23, I think.
Yeah, I was on the air with you then. So Florida will finally turn blue.
Will Florida, let's see.
And I thought it turned blue a couple weeks ago. They said the iguanas were falling out of the tree.
True.
Not the kind of blue they're talking about.
Right. So basically is Byron Donald's gonna win Florida, or is it David Jolly, I think is his
David Jolly. Mm-hmm.
Kelly, what are those political? Not sure what that means, Kelly. Florida, what's up with Florida? What's up with Florida? What's up with Florida? Oh, I think you mean this deck. It's the Supernatural deck, Kelly.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one you were referring to. That it's created over the series, the show Supernatural. So it's got all the characters from Supernatural. Okay. On to that question after I had done shuffling. Two, three, four. Florida blue. Okay. Florida has been restricted for a long time. Strength and courage and not achieving progress. Current energy is a yes and the Empress. Knight of Cups, Empress, and Hierophant. The current energy is wanting to do things better. Moving forward, Two of Cups, embracing High Priestess and Page of Swords. There's going to be unscrupulous messaging yet to try to keep it Republican. Outcome, Six of Pentacles, giving and receiving, being what you're worth, the Emperor, Six of Swords, and Four of Cups. I think many people are discontented with the current leadership, and they will get better. So there is a movement, Blue. I'm not getting a boom like the House and Senate legislature, but I think they're going to choose a better leader, though. So I don't see Byron Donalds, but it doesn't feel like the legislature is blue.
I got all no's. And it's like, I talked to a woman. I spent an hour with a friend of mine who lives in Florida, and we talked, and she's just feeling so despondent at this point about her state. And her husband just retired, and she said, most people retire and move to Florida. They might retire and move away from Florida because it's just so.
Yeah, I'm not feeling a total blue like the legislature too, but I have a good feeling about the governor.
Okay, we have an English teacher in the room. What is it with the pronouns and the questions? How do we know for sure who's being talked about?
Pronouns.
I don't know. We try to point out who we're talking about. We kind of have to have a mindset on someone to get an impression when you're reading.
On the questions, I think people try to limit putting, certain people, certain names in there.
Right.
To get, your hidden comment or whatever.
Right. We're not responsible for pronouns. We're just letting people in the chat know if you want to try to clean up your pronoun act, please. What's going to happen to Musk in the Twitter takeover case?
What's going to happen to Musk? I think he had to do a deposition or is over something.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. Let's see.
Yeah, I can't remember either, but
let's see if it's going to come. I'm going to ask if it's going to go badly for him, just because I have to have a point of view.
Silverwood says, I lived in Florida for 30 years, retired, and left. I guess DeSantis put up a post yesterday. Supposedly, Florida had record tourism this year.
Really? These are the same people that don't count dead bodies. Maybe they make up live ones too.
They could be counting people that come and go on a cruise ship.
That's true. Okay. Yes, I'm glad I asked if it was going to go badly for him. Yes, he's lied in the past and it's causing him trouble. His judgment's being called. He's ignoring it, thinking it's beyond him. 4 cups. I don't have to pay attention. They're going to have me. But someone who's planning to come get him for some more money, and it's going to be very costly to him in the end. He got the 9 of swords. I'd rather have the 10 of swords with all the swords in my back than the 9 of swords keeping me up at night. It's not going to go well for him.
There could be some fines going on.
Uh-huh.
Did I get my
Yeah,
coin?
I got that.
So
I get the Knight of
page,
Pentacles.
yeah, the Page of Swords, Ace of Cups, and my 8 of Coins. So losing something that he feels good about, and that Page of Swords is like a fine or instruction or something you need to do. There could be some dark secrets revealed with the moon at the bottom, but I get justice coming for him and mistakes made in the past having to reflect of what he did. So with the Hermit, my Empress Star card, and then justice happening. So something he's going to have to reflect on what he did and possibly pay a fine.
Yeah, but it's going to be a loss to him, and that's more than his little ego can take. Okay. How successful will secessionist movement in Alberta be with our administration egging them on? Now, this is for the Americans who don't understand. The provinces are connected differently than the states are, and how they're connected different, so they can handle different issues much more differently than we can. And secessionists just, I don't know what Alberta thinks it's going to do, because it has to go through all those other provinces to get to anywhere. But
Yeah.
And what I got is
I got Alberta wants to join the administration. United States.
And what I see is they think they can be successful at this, but on the other hand, a lot of people are saying, no, you don't want to go off and become your own little nation. But by the laws, they can do what they're asking to do. And there are a lot of people in Alberta who thinks this isn't such a bad idea. But I think at the end of times, what's going to happen is they're going to have a change of administration. It's going to go to a woman, and it's going to get blocked. But
yeah, I don't know why they think it's a good idea, but they do.
Well, there's Texans, if they could vote to get out of this country, they'd be gone in 2 minutes. Not this one.
I have a lot of decent cards for that energy of wanting to for some reason.
Mm-hmm. Maybe it takes the heat off so that they don't go out and really.
But in the end, I get a 5 of coins with it. So meaning it's not a good idea or won't happen. Sensible leadership comes in and makes a change, but some reason they feel like they're all in. I get a lot of decent cards for it, but that 5 of coins makes it a no.
I don't think the State of the Union can't be done by Vance if Trump doesn't do it, can it?
Never heard of it.
That'll even have less viewership than if he did it, if you can imagine it.
But they come up and say something like, oh, he's sick. Whatever. Let's see. I'm going to grab 3 cards, see what it says. Is Vance going to be able to step into State of the Union? Knight of Swords, King of Wands, and Chariot. Ooh, that shows it's possible.
Mm.
And oh my God, I got pretty much the same cards I got before asking about it. There's going to be a Tower moment with 45.
Mm-hmm.
But the Chariot is taking charge of a different person with that Knight of Swords. And a King of Wands is a different person, not 45. Freaking strange. I know, the energy is possible.
Okay. I'm going down and seeing if there's a question I absolutely can't live without, because we got enough minutes to finish out the ones I've already marked. Oh, there's one. That's a good one. They have a new craft thing in Minnesota. They meet at the different yarn stores, and they're knitting woolen caps for people. And when they, for each cap that goes out with this little ice sticker on it, they're making money for the Stop Ice movement. So, okay, let's see. Okay, we're back into hospital ships, so we're going to go to start. And I'm going to go down. Yes, thank you, Taro. Ask backwards, and thank you, Lady T, for donating. And what did Steve Bannon envision for America if he were able to get 45 out of office years ago? Nothing good. I mean, the man doesn't know how to dress. I've known toddlers that come out better dressed than he is. But
Well, he got what he wanted. They were just upset. He was upset the way it was going the first time, but he's currently getting what he wanted this time. What? Trying to think of a question on that. It's just crazy how anyone would want an authoritarian here.
They obviously haven't read their history books, because a lot of the people that backed Hitler at first were dead by the end of the war, and not because they got hit with bombs. They didn't consider them loyal enough.
I mean, they got the right wing, everything they wanted. The devil, greed, power among.
I don't want to really read on Steve Bannon. Thank you.
Power of the people above. Destroy government functions. Hurt poor people. Cause chaos, and a magician ruling. So basically, like Russia, certain people in power, hurt the poor people, make them sick, and one man rule. That's what he wanted. The wealthy get wealthy, and the poor people starve, and basically, like, get rid of the weak, like Chairman Mao wanted to do in China.
Yeah, when he had his revolution. Okay. Will Zuckerberg lose the addiction social media lawsuit he's going through in LA?
I see he had to testify the other day.
Yeah, he did.
Will Zuckerberg lose the addiction to social media lawsuit? Zuckerberg. Yeah, Bannon should be in jail. Yeah, pretty much Bannon got what he wanted through Project 2025.
Okay, I've got that right now. He knew, and they've known from talking to people, exactly what they're building. That's the devil. They knew that it was addictive, and they just turned their back on that to make the money. It's tower time for them. But I don't think it's going to be the lawsuit so much as the laws that come out to change how social media is handled.
I'm trying to figure out. I got a lot of good cards at first. I'm trying to figure out why. It feels like protection for the company.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I believe they knew. So I get the sun and the profits that Zuckerberg has made.
Mm-hmm.
I'm giving the abundance, Ace of Cups, to social media. The algorithm strategy. So yeah, I get heavy on the courts here, or the judges, the King of Swords. But I think things will change with the Page of Wands, the messaging, those whistleblowers, and things getting better with the Six of Swords when the truth comes out.
Right. I think the laws are going to change so that they can't do some of the crap they're doing.
That could be. Maybe that's what this means. Queen of Cups is my United States card usually.
Yeah, I had her.
My Duchess is the Empress star, so family abundance, and that can mean different laws, and then a intelligent leader. So I think that's what that means, what you were saying. King of Swords can mean law and order, can mean judges ruling.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, I think there's going to be some backlash from this and better things.
Okay. And now, congrats. The men's hockey team just won the gold.
Did they really?
Yeah.
They beat
According to
Canada?
Lisa, I don't know.
They beat Canada? Wow.
Very good. I remember watching the game where they beat the Russians when no one thought they could. I was standing alone in my living room, and I remember, I don't get excited about sports stuff often, but I really got excited about that. Congrats to the U.S. team. Could Mark Kelly be running for president in 28?
And Deb said, yes, they beat Canada. Aw. Good for our team. I just found out yesterday there's a local girl from where, like 20 miles away, that was on the Wisconsin, or the women's team.
Oh, really?
She grew up in a small town just down the road. She was on the women's hockey team. Okay, Mark Kelly, what's your future?
Wow, he got good cards.
Mark Kelly, will you be a future president? Mark Kelly, will you be a future president?
I got right now, this whole thing they're doing of trying to make him feel imprisoned is going to empower him. He's sitting at home talking to Gabby about doing this, but Gabby's behind him 100%. And then he's got two cards you rarely see together: the Chariot, Let's Go, and the Ace of Wands, that's Danny Shea calls it the Bam Bam victory card. Those are good cards. Looking at where the things line up right now, yes.
I get that. I think that it's being talked about with the Page of Wands.
Mm-hmm.
The Fool is a new beginning, taking a leap of faith, and then the High Priestess. Future is unrevealed. Intuition, using your feelings. And then I get financial instability with the Five of Pentacles, the Hermit, introspection, and then the Three of Wands, looking for assistance. Big undertaking to go run for president.
It is. It's huge.
And then the Man of Honor with the Knight of Pentacles, the Five of Swords, no-win situation. Queen of Pentacles, I think Gabby would be behind him, and then 10 of Cups, he would be accepted. So the biggest obstacle is putting yourself out there, getting the money. The Five of Swords is a tough one to be in there. That's loss, defeat, it's arguments, it's strife. Bottom of the deck, Four of Cups, discontent, boredom, apathy. So I think he may run, but I don't think he's got what it takes to be president. That's what I get from my read.
I think he's what people want in a president, though. They want an honorable man,
Yeah,
someone who
he's
served.
there, but at the current situation, I don't. These don't show him being the winner.
No,
He
Well,
may
we're a
run,
long ways from there, guys. We got a lot to go through, including this little idea.
definitely 2.5 plus years.
Will ICE be at the polling places in November, serving as arbiters of legitimacy and voter ID?
There's a
How will
lot.
that work?
There's a lot of talk about that already. Certain places are trying to get a law in place statewide to stop anything like that, since it's already.
Texas say won't need a law. The governor will just say, "Yeah, come on in, masks and all."
Okay. What will do?
Especially after they see the kind of voting they're getting in the primaries.
Nice. I get the sense of being blocked.
Mhm. I'm just going to ask if they're going to be in the polling places and see what it says.
If we can get people to vote early, it won't be an issue.
That's true.
Because all the crazy stuff happens on election day. The ICE. ICE at polling. ICE at polling.
It's going to piss people off and they're going to want to vote more. And they're going to push it in some areas, maybe where I am. It's going to be a very different way, but it's going to motivate people to go vote for what they want. And it's going to get a balanced outcome, not what they think. Their whole thing about putting ICE there would be to keep people that ICE could arrest.
The happy satisfaction of voting and being there, the 10 of cups.
That's right. It's like we're beating the man.
It's crossed by petty conflicts with the 5 of wands. So it's possibly there. The energy's there because MAGA Palpatine wants it. Pumpkin Palpatine wants it with the 9 of Pentacles Emperor, Ace of Cups. And then in the end, I get the Devil. So we got self-imposed restrictions, 6 of Cups. Stuff that's happened before at the polling places, 10 of Swords, misfortune, pain, and then the Queen of Wands. Good advice and whatnot. It's being planned.
Mm-hmm.
But I get the sense it's going to be overcome, though.
Oh no, I think people are going to feel like, if as long as you don't have something that could make sort of, and I realize they can decide to make something a problem for you whether they want to or not. But it'll be okay. I think we're going to be okay. If they do it, it'll just make people madder. I walked past the Trump truck that was exactly at the 100-yard mark outside of the polling place last presidential election. And they were mean-looking dudes with rifles sitting at the 100-foot mark. And I called the sheriff's department and called it in. And they said they'd already been out there and they had no ammunition in the truck. They said, we know about it. And in Texas, the law enforcement that's over the polls is the sheriff. It's the county sheriff. And I said, yeah, it's intimidating. And they said, yeah, but we heard people telling us on the inside that people were telling them they were just walking past them and it pissed them off that they showed up. So
Dog Lover says, my husband walks 7 miles each day in Florida. All the Trump signs have been taken down. Only one Trump bumper sticker left.
good.
It's a big improvement in their area. Yay. I think they're still out there. They just don't.
Oh yeah, they can take the bumper stickers off.
They just don't want the ridicule anymore of having the signs up. Because they were all taken down in 25 on one of my routes where the whole 5-mile road to my stop in the country was Trump signs everywhere.
Hmm.
They're all gone, but
If you had it in your heart to put that flag up, unless you found out it was your teenage daughter, I don't think you've taken it down for the right reasons. We had someone comment in here about how sick Queen Elizabeth would be about what's happening around Andrew. What they picked Andrew up on was compromising a trade commission deal that he had because of his royal position with China.
Yep.
And the way they got to find out about that was on the last big Jubilee thing she had. On that day, she paid $10 million to some Chinese businessmen to shut them up. It's when the Queen wasn't there to pay to cover for Andrew's cute little butt. That was her favorite child. And she kind of hoped, I think she sort of hoped he'd die before it all came out. But anyway, I'm not happy with, I don't like his brother Charles either. I think Charles should have stepped down, let William run it, and let it go to a more European monarchy. But that's just me and my literacy about. I was married to a Brit, and he hated the royals with a passion. So,
well, the royals get a lot of money each year from the taxpayers.
oh God, yes. I mean, and that's why when Charles took over this time, they've already gone through, and Camilla's pissed because her brothers got put on the royal payroll because she was the queen, and they took them off. They said, nope, they haven't done anything here.
Oh, did you hear Fergie put herself in a institution?
Yeah, well, Fergie's another word. Fergie should have been in an institution a long time ago.
I guess it's like $18,000 a month for her rehab, whatever she's going through.
Oh, we're here now. We're having people debating. I'm just checking to make sure we don't miss something that.
A lot of people are asking about the SAVE Act passing the Senate.
I don't know.
That's that ridiculous voter law they want.
Yeah.
I don't think it will. It's got to get 60. SAVE Act.
Yeah.
A few cards on the SAVE Act passing the Senate. Not my 9-10 of coins. I think that's going to be the bill, and then I got the 8 of cups walking away. I don't.
SAVE Act.
Page of swords, ace of coins, and the 5 of cups. The loss.
Yeah, I think they're going to retreat behind a bunch of excuses.
I don't see it.
So you want to pull one last card for the day?
Sure. Inspiration time.
What you got going on this week, Scott, other than work?
Just work.
And dogs.
You know. No real plans except work.
Oh. I get a phone call every day from Sean to tell me how his life's going.
Good.
I hear these people say, my children never talk to me. I'm like, I can't get mine to shut up. Hey, good boy.
Okay. There's some negativity in the world here with the 5 of swords, the 5 of Michael. So this situation doesn't serve you. You need to release it because justice is on its way.
Oh,
equality will happen, and then a gift is coming to us with the Ace of Gabriel.
good.
So this week could be a good week for justice, and passion and opportunity is on its way. That would be nice, with the possibility of the orange one having an issue Tuesday.
Well, there's going to be, I know Jeffrey and I do our weekly readings, our weekly wanderings. And the one for last week was things are going to happen this week, but you won't feel them till the next week. And then our reading for this week says, catch up with yourself, see how good it's gotten that you didn't even realize. And I've got for us, I pulled a crystal, and it is Liberian gold tektite. And what Liberian gold tektite? Tektite means it's a crystal that's formed by actions that starts off the planet. And this is what in Liberia they find sand that has been burnt by the meteorites that come in. When they come in and they hit the earth, they melt the sand and they create these gold tektites. They're really beautiful. It means it's a powerful manifestation crystal, assists in connecting light beings with other galaxies and dimensions, releases our fears of the unknown, allowing more trust in our life. It's good for dissolving fear and understanding that the universe is bigger than we feel we are. It's a powerful tektite formed by meteorites in the Liberian desert. The energy of this unique crystal is truly potent and magical. Sometimes it even feels out of this world. Well, of course it does. That's where it started.
I pulled two more from my oracle deck.
Oh, good. We're going to talk to that part of the world from Scott.
I think it's part of that 5 of Swords I got.
Mm-hmm.
So when things go awry, just release it. You know, you need to have a cry, get away, and get yourself balanced again. Get your nucleus, your DNA back into a positive space. So okay. It's okay to release. It's okay to just get away and release that energy.
And Jeffrey and I are going to do a show this afternoon. We're not even sure what we're going to really do it about. But we're going to be talking about how we work and how we see the world. And we're still looking for people to take my tarot class that Jeffrey helps me with. And I taped a couple of psychic profiles this week, which was fun. Both of them are people who woke up during COVID becoming isolated with COVID awoke their energy. So if you're interested in that, look for those things. I have my normal show on Tuesday, and I think it's just going to be questions and answers right now. And
Lady Kirashka, I hope I said it right, but she said her reading got something happening for the orange one between the new moon and the full moon. So the new moon has happened.
Yeah, that was the equinox.
So we're in that time frame, according to her.
Yeah, we're in a very. I actually took time out when Neptune and Saturn conjoined on at 1 degree of Aries. I actually went out, had a long talk with Hogarth, and he's gotten lumpier and bumpier than he used to be. And I was talking to him about it, and he said it's all fine, and that if you've been around as long as he has and see things grow the way he sees them grow, that we're really on the right trajectory, even though it doesn't feel like it all the time. And I do a lot of hand holding for people who get scared. I get scared, but I didn't have to be here. So I chose to be here, and that makes a big difference. Unlike when I'm just sort of ended up here, what happened? No, this time I'm around for it. So
here we go.
Okay, so y'all have a good week. Bye.